Wow, wow, yo, yippee, yay, guys. Part number 28, and I'm super excited to be with you guys today. As always, we'll dive into the love of the community, then talk about what's happening on SwissBorg Network with new referral campaigns for super amazing Italian community members, talking about governance, and of course, talk about what's happening on the markets, and talk about what's happening with this battle meme. As you guys know, my name is Cyrus Frizzell, the proud founder and CEO of SwissBorg, always here to serve you. So first question of the week, people a little bit complaining by the fact that they're invested in the thematic that's not going too well. And they want to know when is the airdrop going to happen. I'd spoken with Louis regarding the XBorg token. And I actually told him that it's probably a very bad idea to list any tokens. Any good project right now will drop 80%, especially if there's airdrops regarding that. There's a lot of good statistics that's been showing this, that essentially over 30 projects that have listed in the past 3-4 months have gone like down 80%. And that's just something that we know because we went through this when we listed. SwissBorg was in February 2018, which is probably one of the most brutal and long crypto winter. And it's really hard to see your token lose 99%. Well, obviously 2020 was amazing, 2021, all that, we know the history. But it is very important to list your token in the right timing in order to have a very positive outcome right away. A lot of people put pressure on Agora, and now Agora is down 90%, right? And if you look at even other great projects as well, such as, for example, Camino, or if you look at Cross of the Ages, which is a fantastic project, one of the best game, all these tokens are doing extremely poor. So long story short, I don't know what Louis and the entire XBorg team is going to do, but I definitely told him that I would postpone it as much as possible, because getting a token right now will bring liquidity, but that liquidity is, $1,000 instead of $10,000. Well, it's clear that you would go for the number 2 and wait for it. So it will come. It's just that if you already want to be eligible for the gaming, for the XBorg airdrop, you have to be invested into the gaming thematic. News of the week, won't go too much into these things, as you guys know. Mainly what is happening, Germans government have been sold, I think so, $1 billion today of Bitcoin. Yesterday I sold a nice bunch as well, Friday as well. They just still want to liquidate some of their positions for whatever reason. Now let's talk about the market. All in all, the market, there's just one bad news. Which is that right now it has crossed down a little bit the 200-day moving average, which is not really good. But if you look on the flip side, though, this has been the best bull cycle for Bitcoin. There's been 427 days that has been really up, and we haven't seen that so far. So it really is something new, and something obviously was coupled by multiple factors, which one is, well, Bitcoin is the best investment assets, period. There was a huge panic in 2022, which was completely a bubble burst, right? Crazy things that happened. And the second thing is obviously this ETF has really helped to boost Bitcoin itself. Maybe I like looking at this, and we Christoph and the investment team, push it every week. It's really interesting to see that when there's extreme greed, very often this is a top-ish type of signal. It's hard to know exactly how long it lasts, because this could last maybe, like, for example, a month, 2 months, 6 months. But if you have it for more than a month or two, that is usually a tendency of saying that it's maybe a good time to sell. And when you see the opposite, one is essentially fear to extreme fear, this is a good time to reload, especially when you get to the 20 here, which is not on this chart. But if you look at, for example, late 2022, that was a good one. Early 18 or mid 18 was another one. So you really have these ones. So here you can see the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, and it really shows it's quite well. So here you see, like in 2019, so mid 2018, the price still went a little bit lower, but this was definitely a good time to look into it. And you see a lot of accumulation of these dots that happen, right? That happened a bit before, but for 6 months, you had these quite of extreme fear. And therefore, after fear comes essentially some good momentum and things pop up. And that is very common, right? And if you look on the other side, you see in 21 that here this channel was obviously 2020 was got into greed, which was very high, extreme greed that actually happened for almost, let's say 4 or 5 months. And then you have a little bit lower, which was the accumulation time. And then essentially what you have is the opposite, right? It's really where you have now unfortunately, the drawdown. And here you see that greed is completely showing some other patterns. And you see this is actually the opposite. You see that if you have a long accumulation from July, so that was actually a very long time of fear. There's a bit change of channel here. So if you talk from here, it's almost a year of actually low. So it changed in time, but definitely these are times where you feel comfortable buying. I know it's always the opposite. And, we see in March that thing went crazy. Everyone started buying whenever things are pumping. But it's always good to look at if you want to trade and you want to look on the long run. Of course, you could auto-invest, and this is maybe the best way to do it. But if you like trading, it's really good. So if we see a little bit more of red happening here for the next, let's say, 2 months, that will be probably a very good time then to come back to go to invest at that time. And then they're going to have a very nice bounce behind that. Crypto trading and volume, this is a very good indicator as well, is that whenever you have essentially a lot of volume, that means there's going to have a lot of price action. And the price action usually is quite positive. When you see a lot of volume happening, the price will pump. It might dump right away like here. But you see that those are good times always to do it, right? That's why we would want to bring more and more volume essentially to Borg, is that it's very healthy. The correlation that was explained last week, we did another correlation study with different variables, and we finally realized that the interesting thing about this market right now is it looks like there's more correlation. And I strongly believe that we will be more and more correlated, I think, so to NASDAQ, especially with institutional flow coming into Bitcoin, institutional flow going eventually to the next ETF, such as Ethereum, and eventually Solana, which won't pick up as much as Bitcoin. But you definitely see that it has like a little tech narrative around it. It is, though, great versus inflation. And I think so this is still a big thing that could be played. But probably when NASDAQ will pump, Bitcoin will pump. When NASDAQ will dump, there's a very high chances, at least on the short run, that Bitcoin will dump. That doesn't mean that it will dump as much as NASDAQ. These will probably jump as much as the NASDAQ in the beginning, but then probably will it play its inflation edge as well. So it will have a correlation, no doubt, with the NASDAQ. And we see here the correlation is not that high though, right? It's still at a very nice proportional level. So having tech stocks on one side and Bitcoin is still a great thing to do. Altcoins. A lot of people obviously are really pissed about the fact that altcoins have not done great. And it's just normal. What you do in these cycles when they start pumping, and this is pre-halving or post-halving, whenever there's a new economical cycle as well that goes to it, you look for essentially the queen and the king, right? So the king and the queen, Bitcoin, Ethereum. You look then for princesses and princes. So right now, essentially Solana, BNB is still within there, even and have its own thing around it. But then you look for the newbies, like the very new projects, because you think that these things will do X multiples, and then they do, but they eventually fade out, most of them, and die, which is not something really to take in consideration. And then what you start seeing is more fundamentals. Projects like SwissBorg, Aave, projects that have like strong amount of gamers. You could have a lot of different projects or L2s or L1s that have a lot of velocity on their chain and a lot of usage. You'll see more and more fundamental bets where you say, okay, we did the core. The satellite, we looked for newbies, but at the end, these newbies are great for the pump, but actually there's no real product behind it or no business model behind it. So those now favor those that actually are changing the game and have been there for multiple cycles. And this is very important. So altcoin season will happen. There's no doubt about that. And the thing which is very important is, though, we have to pick the very careful ones, those that have strong utilities and have a great ecosystem. For example, the Curve token has been like a very big dilemma, right? Mine's now down 95% or 90%. It has a great business, but the token has not been really much used so far, and there's been a lot of controversy around Curve. So that these projects don't necessarily mean that you will have all-time highs that will be the same as the previous cycle. We saw that with XRP, right? For example, that had a huge narrative in 2017, went to $3.75. But we saw in the last crypto cycle, in the third one, that it went to maybe like half of that, maybe like 170 or 180, something like that, because it doesn't have real usage, it doesn't have fundamental behind it. It's just still speculation. There's no real usage of the token, and the network, as cool as it is, it's not being used. We had a little cyber school graduation pitch, and they thought about bringing swag points. So I think so it's just burger points. The idea is that these burger points will enable you to, each time you get into the app every day, you have these winning streaks, and these winning streaks convert into burger points, and then these points could be used in the app, and maybe like you get special swag out of it. If you like this idea, please let us know, and maybe we could have Crypto CG or other people like do special dedicated merch with these points. Let's now talk about governance. Governance is really the paramount of crypto. We know that Web3 really is showing a way that investors, users could all be around the table and could vote for different things. And just I want to have a little bit update here that we had two big events that happened on 26th of June. The AGMs and annual general meetings. And we're going to look into this, right? So the most amazing thing right now is that we have Burger on board. As you guys know, there was a choice between different people, and Julian Haas finally became a board member, which is really, really interesting to have him and be able to represent you at the best way possible. The thing that are important to record from this is that we had a vote of investors through the web app, elections of Julian Haas as a board member as well, modification of the register offers from Bar to Zug to Lausanne, and Apex to Presence. That was really the one for SwissBorg community. There was a simple way to vote in the app, which was very, very cool, I believe. The AGM of SBorg SA, which is the main entity again, shareholders today that are part of SBorg SA are represented into SwissBorg community, the company, right? This is essentially a vehicle where you get then the shares, right? Through SBorg SA. What is important here is that, we all had talk. We talked about like how things are evolving. We had a very good, 2023 was not a great year, but the start of 2024 was good, very good, solid, I would say, semester there, especially the first quarter. It was great to have Julian, as I said. And we have something new as well, that Nicolas is a board member as well, which is really cool. So regarding marketing, what is going to happen today is that we want to make the biggest noise. And for that, check out this video.
To battle!
So you guys know it. It's the first fight is going to happen, DOGE versus SHIB. It's all about having fun. It's all about you guys voicing up your opinion, bring all these different armies to know what we're doing with SwissBorg and to be able to be part of these thematics, be able to list these tokens, do alpha vaults, whatever you guys will be able, things to bring the best projects, to become the best marketplace, offer you the best products. And for this, I'm very excited that I'm going to be representing DOGE and Benji's going to be representing Shiba token. Borgers couldn't be more excited about talking about the Battle Meme competition with Benji. Today, we're going to talk about the first quarterfinals, which is obviously the two legends, the king and the queens of meme token.
I'm going to be representing the SHIB army, and I'm going to be destroying Dogecoin because I think that it's trash.
Okay, so before that, let's start with a 1 minute pitch. Why DOGE? DOGE is essentially the Bitcoin of memes. It was the first one in 2013 that created a fun, fair, community-centric token that would say that money would be replaced by a dog face. We all know how much human race loves these dogs. And for the first time, people could not only love into it, but to value love through DOGE. And that's why Dogecoin is the father today of meme tokens, created over 11 years ago with already 4 cycles and track record that went from 0 all the way up to $82 billion, with the biggest amount of token holders around the world spread out through zillions of places where you can actually spend Doge coins, where people enjoy this fun, fair community, beautiful dog. What I love about Doge as well is that there's a big, strong Doge army that's behind it, with Twitter, with celebrity figures such as Elon Musk, but as well the Mr. Beast that has done a lot of things with charity. I strongly believe that with this simple technology, this could actually get to its mission, which is to spread the love of this dog and make this as a real payment token for the future. That's why I believe that Dogecoin, woof woof, is the one.
Why I think SHIB will be number one. Launched in 2020 by an anonymous founder, SHIB is also trying to spread the love about the breed of Shiba Inu dogs. But they're doing more than that. Launched as a meme token just for fun, they've decided that they have gained enough popularity and enough revenue to actually start building a project and innovating on-chain. They've built a swap, they've built a card game, they've built stable coins, they've built deflationary tokens, and they're building all of that with their community. They actually have a DAO that has power of authority and can make decisions and guide the project to where they want to be. I think that this is the perfect mix between being able to be fun, also to be able to listen to their community and decide what people want together, and actually innovate on chain and build products that have as aim to be the best out there. So that's why I think you can also, on top of just being fun like Doge, start building and innovating like SHIB is doing, and showing the way to how we can have blockchains that are used and sustainably so.
I agree that somewhere you guys are innovative. However, what is the essence of a meme token? Is it just make fun, wear that t-shirt and go, let's go Doge, let's go Doge? Or is it really to use this technology and do so crazy things about it? Why is Bitcoin today the most trusted crypto? Because it's the first advantage mover, right? Second, because it's just simple. There's no such complication around it. Just a good way to essentially store value and for further make payments. And that's why I think that all this building behind that Shiba is trying to do is worthless.
So why I think that you're wrong is because SHIB is actually building competitive advantage. It's super easy for another company to come in and say, hey, now we're more fun than Doge and we're going to take over all of their community, just because they're able to replace them in just a matter of seconds. It's a little bit like MySpace or IBM. These guys we thought were the first movers and invincible, got destroyed in a few months only by competitors that were doing the same thing but better. I think that it's super easy for people today to replace Doge, but SHIB is actually building more branches and more things that are going to be much more difficult and lengthy to just replace. And also it's going to be less motivating for companies to try to replace them and take that market cap, because there's so much more effort that has to go into it. So that's why I think that SHIB can be more sustainable and stand in the long run, whereas Dogecoin might just crash tomorrow and against some Huac token.
I agree that IBM got replaced or Friendster whatsoever. But here we're talking about money. We're talking about network. We're talking about people that invest their money and their souls into a token. And what we've seen here with Bitcoin, there's been so many Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamond, Bitcoin Huc Toi, whatever. What we see though is that none of these actually do matter, right? All of these are bullshit initiatives that are forks of forks. And at the end, the thing is that what you have behind the brand of Doge, you have a solid network of miners that actually mine Doge it. And these people won't switch to Shiba because, Shiba today is in proof of stake, right? So I think that's another reason I believe that the OGs will just stick to Doge. And a lot of people believe that this network is a great way to, really put a loyal people with their loyal dogs. What do you have to? What do you answer to that?
I think you're right, but that at the same time it's going to be overtaken, if not today, in time, just because newcomers, they're going to be looking at a community of boomers that have been staking and staying with a project for super long and have built nothing, or they can actually join people that are voting and participating into a growing ecosystem. And I think that this alone, if Doge doesn't try to fix, is going to replace them in the long run because they have not much to offer. And if you don't get the reference, and if you don't have the history, and if you don't have the soul that's invested in it, then there's no reason to start investing in it, or at least not as much as SHIB would. So I think that this is my counter to that.
That's a nice one. It's when young blood's talking to more experienced blood. Let's see who that's the best, has the best move. I mean, look, I think both dogs do have some nice things out of it. I strongly believe that, where if you believe in the Bitcoin, you have to go for DOGE. If you believe more into the Ethereum or the Solana type of thing, which Web3 is, I think so. I do agree that to some extent, Shiba is doing a lot of new things with Shibarium and all the DeFi things, the swaps and the L2 that's launching. But nevertheless, Bitcoin hasn't changed much since the last 10 years. It changed, but not that much. And that's, I think, that people do have a tendency to be loyal to what things work. I do feel that we need more and more ambassadors around DOGE to make it great and make it used as a payment token. I think so. But, Ellen has been talking about a little bit that on X. If you make that happen, you know that the real dog is better be DOGE.
Or SHIB. No, but for sure, both of them are very good. And they have a lot of room to grow. I think SHIB has even a little bit more room to grow if you look at the market caps. If you don't want to choose, then there's always the meme coin thematic that SwissBorg is promoting, and there's definitely going to be a huge help for a lot of people that don't know what to choose. But there are a lot of other contenders that we're going to be looking at in these next weeks in our little meme coin or meme battle tournament, which is going to be super exciting.
This was the first quarterfinals, guys. The results will be drawn through Twitter, so you have to vote, chill which one you prefer the most, tag whoever you want to bring into this battle competition. It's really to show to the world that SwissBorg, we're caring about building the best ecosystem, driving the best products and investment services, and trying to figure out who are the best. Because you could listen to Benji, you could to myself, to be very honest, I still have a little small tendency to favor a bit DOGE, but who knows? Maybe SHIB. And let's hear your voice and see which one you figure out is the best. Thank you so much, Benji. And
thank you. Woof woof. See you next time.
Guys, I hope this is the first episode, the first battle royale, the first quarterfinals, DOGE versus Shiba. We'll have next quarterfinals will happen. We'll be with and bonk the Solana dogs, which is the coolest Solana dogs. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a thread on Twitter. Please vote there, share it, and let's have fun. Buongiorno, bambino, bambini, a tutti. Voglio dire che per tutte le persone che parlano l'italiano, abbiamo un offerto per tutti le gente con un reroll di 3 volte. I don't know if that was good or not. Completely impro. Sorry about my bad Italian. This was not real, as you can see. The deadline will happen on 1st September, so just make it happen. And yeah, ciao a tutti. More fun as well. And right now, obviously, we are having different events on HitBTC. I'm not there, unfortunately, but I wish I was there. And if you see anyone, just tag SB in Brussels, and you could be able to win, of course, $20 in Borg, but just make sure that you're fun, and we'll post it on Instagram. So make it happen. Borg in some data, 164, still very low. Though the good thing is that we still have 23% of the Borg staked, which is good. And the holders and half is pretty much the same. Not much to say. It's good in terms of net flow, though. A lot of people have been buying the dip, which is good. But if not, 40 million volume was not too great, to be honest. So our community index won't be high for this one, unfortunately. The volume picked up a bit, Borg holders small a bit, but then the rest is pretty much red. Borgers, I know it's hot. I know it's summertime. I know that things are looking a little bit sideways and a little bit bearish. But the good thing is that, the future is very bright. I'm very, very confident that we're going to be able to demonstrate this in the coming days and weeks. There's some new updates regarding the product that I didn't share that I wish I could, but there's cool things that are happening. I know the referrals being fixed because we had some issues there, and there's so much more to be done as well. So it is summer, but we still are working hard, and dividends will pay out hopefully very soon as we build and launch new different products. So as always, be wealthy, be healthy, love our Borg and equity, and refer all your buddies. Time to get into this market. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you for watching our weekly powwow episode. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, tune in next week anyway, so that you can figure out if it's better then. Bye!